guys, today I'll be reviewing the Beast at Kings Island. This is the in-house / Dinh wooden coaster from 1979, and I used to think this was a top 25 coaster, but now with it getting smoother and the retracking and everything, combined with me riding a lot more coasters, I don't think this is quite as good, but it's still definitely a good ride, and I'll explain why in this review. So let's start off with the presentation. This ride really doesn't have any sort of theming. It's got those beast footprints walking up to the entrance, and that's about it. It's just cattle pen throughout the entire queue. The trains don't even look cool or anything. They're just normal PTCs. And unfortunately, you'll be sitting through this cattle pen of a queue for a while, especially if you want a night ride on this, because everyone floods this thing at night. Now, while we're talking about the line, there's a couple things I want to talk about. The first is that they keep the line open here until 9 o'clock. Or whenever the park closes. In my case, it was 9 o'clock both nights. They do that for every ride here, which I think is great. But unfortunately, that does mean if you have to wait an hour and a half, you're going to leave the park at 10:30 at least, probably later, especially since this thing is in the very back of the park. The other thing worth noting is that if Kings Island has fireworks, then this ride shuts down for however long it takes them to clear the area, make sure there's no fireworks on the ride, and it's the same for Orion. So yes, it will be even longer for that last ride of the night on the Beast if you're doing it during the summer with the fireworks and everything. Now you're going to sit in these trains and you're going to notice a pretty comfortable PTC lap bar. It's the same as they have at Racer over on the other side of the park. It's nothing special, but it gets the job done. It's not uncomfortable or anything. And I would say this is a back row ride now. You get a couple moments of airtime in the back that you definitely do not get in the front. I got 4 rides on this in my past visit, and I didn't get the front car, but I got the second to front car, and I definitely didn't feel any airtime, whereas in the back, it's definitely apparent. Now I will note before we get into the layout, overall this ride's pretty smooth now, which I'm definitely not a big fan of. I liked how aggressive it was and how rough it was, but it's definitely a lot smoother now. You can tell there's still definitely a bit of joltiness, a bit of roughness, but it's definitely nothing no one can handle. As far as which side of the train you want to sit on, it really doesn't matter for this ride. I don't think there's like a specific airtime kink that's better on one side or the other. I would say just sit on the left side or the load side, just because it's a really cool near miss with the tunnel in the second half. I'll get to that later. But for now, let's start out of the station. So you're going to turn to the right. This doesn't do anything. This is just to get you hyped up. And then you're going to go up the egregiously slow lift hill. And once you get to the top of there, you're going to head down the first drop. And this actually does give some floater, some moderate floater in the back few rows. It's nothing special. It's definitely not Orion's first drop or Mystic Timber's first drop, but it's something. After that, you're going to hit a bit of a straightaway, and that's a common theme on this ride. There's a lot of straight track, which is unfortunate. I wish there was a bit more airtime, but that being said, it was an in-house / Dinh creation back in the 70s, so I can't really fault them too much, especially since this was such a unique project. I mean, there's still really not anything like this in the world. So after that, you're going to hit a left-hand turn. You're going to get some okay laterals here. Nothing on this is Adventure Express level except for one turn, but it's a fun turn here. You get thrown to the right a little bit, and then you hit another bit of a straightaway, this time sort of going upwards, setting you up for a big drop. And I'd say this second drop is about on par with the first one. In the back, you get some moderate floater. In the front, you get nothing here, unfortunately. And then the pop-up out of this, unfortunately, does not give airtime, even in the second car. Now, before we go any further, I want to note the valleys on this ride really don't do anything, and there's really only a few true valleys, but those few that there are really don't do anything, so no positives on this ride, outside of one moment, which I'll get to. After that, you'll hit a little turn to the right, and unfortunately, this really doesn't give laterals. And then you hit the infamous straightaway with trims. And yes, these trims are absolutely egregious, completely kill your momentum, kill the pacing. I get that they need to be there so the track doesn't rip apart, but it still sucks. After that, you're going to turn to the right, not getting any laterals because you're moving at like 15 miles an hour at this point. And then you hit a little straightaway going downwards before going up, and then hitting an elongated left-hand turn. And this is done in a tunnel. Now, this turn I thought used to be a lot more aggressive. I don't think this turn really does much now, and it's really unfortunate because if the pacing on this ride was better, it could be easily top 25 worthy. But moments like this just make me think, wow, this ride should be going a lot faster than it actually is. After this turn, you're going to hit a little turn going to the right, and the next few turns go to the right. You get a little bit of laterals on this, nothing too special. But then the next couple turns are really good. You get some pretty good laterals on this next right-hand turn. It's really abrupt, but it's definitely good. It's like a little bit of a teaser to what Adventure Express does. And then this next turn is Adventure Express level. This is the one moment on the ride that is elite. You get thrown so hard to the left. It is incredible. If you're on that right side, be prepared to get absolutely thrown into the person sitting next to you. It is such a good moment, and you feel the speed here too. You built up so much momentum, and unfortunately, that momentum gets killed by a huge uphill ascent, leading you back into the second lift hill. This ascent up the second lift hill is also very slow, but I get it. It's got to wait for the blocks. I know the blocks on this ride can be very weird sometimes. That's also why the first lift hill is so slow. But anyways, after this, you're going to get to the top of it, turn to the left, and then head down this ramp. It's really weird. It's tilted to the side, like you're banked to the left, but going down a ramp, not getting any airtime. And there's also a trim in the middle of it, which kind of throws you forward, almost like a Magnum trim effect. And the most important part of this is how much speed you build up. You feel like you're flying by the end of this. And also, this is where that scary near miss occurs with the tunnel. If you're on that left side, it is insane. It actually feels like if you don't put your hands down, you are actually going to smack that. I have never ridden this thing with my hands fully extended right before that tunnel. And then, of course, once you get into the tunnel, you'll be greeted by the double helix. And this element is really good. It's about 15 seconds around there of pure sustained laterals. It's great. But I do think it was a little stronger in 2021. It might just be me being more experienced and also having Mystic Timbers and Adventure Express spoiling me with some of the strongest laterals in the world. But yeah, this was pretty good laterals. It wasn't anything elite, but it was just solid. And again, it's very sustained. It feels like definitely over 10 seconds of really good speed and really good laterals. And that's another thing. This element definitely showcases the speed. So after this, you're going to pull out of that helix, drop down a bit, and not really get any airtime. You lose a lot of speed here, and that shows as you crawl into the brakes. And that is your ride on the Beast. Now, before we give a final score to this coaster, I want to talk about the night rides. Because yes, everyone says this is the best night ride in the world, or at least the second best behind the Voyage. And I don't think so. It's not even the best night ride in the park. It's definitely Mystic Timbers. But this ride is still really good at night. I feel like the start of it kind of gets ruined by Orion. It's definitely really bright back there with Orion. Once you get really deep into the woods, it doesn't really matter anymore. But yeah, at the start, you can definitely see Orion. And then they did this dumb thing where they turned on the lights in this first tunnel. Not the first one that's like sort of a half tunnel with the egregious trim. The one after that. They turned on these bright lights, and it ruins the night ride. It's not blinding to the point where you're losing all direction and your eyes are just getting ruined like at some haunts, but it's just normal light, and it's annoying. It ruins that immersion that you're just completely engulfed in the darkness. I still think this is an amazing night ride, obviously. It's a top 3 night ride for me. It's just magical being so far back in the woods, especially towards the end of that first half. And the setting and terrain usage is such a huge advantage of this ride, even in the day, but especially at night. But that being said, Mystic Timbers has an even better setting, and honestly I'd say even Adventure Express has a better setting. You can also sort of see Orion there at night, but man, it's really secluded back there by Adventure Express. But this is still an absolute must at night. I would say try to get multiple night rides when you're at Kings Island. I know it can be tough, but try to definitely get Mystic Timbers and Adventure Express, and then also the Beast. So for the Beast's final score, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really solid ride. It's great. It's got one of the best settings on any coaster, hands down. The night rides are amazing despite them being slightly overrated. You got some really great laterals, a couple okay airtime moments, and this thing is just unbelievably long. But that being said, it could definitely use a bit more power and a bit more bite, which is why I only give it an 8 out of 10. So that's my review of the Beast at Kings Island. Let me know what you guys think of this ride down in the comments below, and let me know what you guys think of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.